Welcome to another exciting episode of LexDiscuss Cafe. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Richa Bharadwaj, an accomplished legal counsel with over 13 years of experience in the field of civil, corporate, and techno-legal laws. She is currently serving as the legal counsel at Deep LogicTech India Pvt. Limited. Richa has an impressive track record of providing strategic advice and managing legal risk for her clients. In this episode, we delve into her journey, explore the evolving relationship between law and technology, and also discuss her views on environmental changes and get some valuable advice for aspiring legal professionals. So, Richa, thanks a lot for joining us on this podcast.
Thanks a lot for inviting me.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure. So, let's start. Richa, could you share with us the journey that led you to become the legal counsel at Deep LogicTech India Pvt. Limited?
So, Avinash, I started my career as a litigator. I knew from the second semester of law that this is what I would do. So, I did get placements from, at that time, outsourcing LPOs were coming in the country a lot. So, I did get placed in a lot of LPOs also. But I started my career with Bombay High Court as a judicial clerk with Justice Abhay Spoke. He's a sitting Supreme Court judge as of now. And thereafter, I liked Bombay so much that I decided to enroll there. I worked there for 2 years with a solicitor firm. I wanted to be in Bombay. There's an option of incorporated law society. So I worked there for 2 years as an article clerk with a solicitor firm. Delhi was my base. I born and brought up in Delhi. 4 generations of my family is here. So I was missing the family. So I shifted here. Again, started as litigator. Then got married, came in family way. So I took a small break. Then when I rejoined litigation, managing both was a little getting challenging. But since my baby was very small, he was only 3 at that time, when COVID hit, it was time to reassess the priorities. And then when I was in law school, I did that time cyber law was just getting a lot of attention in India, but the laws and content was not that developed. If you tell somebody cyber law, they will be like, okay, fine, something. They did something as the time passed. But during COVID, I understood that, world has caught up with that. And when I started reading up GDPR as a kind of a hobby text, I got so interested in it that I was looking for jobs, and this company is an IT company. So I got an opportunity to make 2 of my passions. And it's also very nice because I can also enjoy time with my family. We are working remotely for some time. So that's how I came in Deep LogicTech.
Wow, such a great, insightful story. Yeah.
Now, my privacy, I have been reading on lot. I have educated myself a lot on technology and cyber law, data privacy, data protection, and everything, which is kind of a norm right now.
Yeah. So one interesting question: did you also had to do the Asian School of Cyber Law diploma in cyber? In cyber law.
I did that. Yeah. I graduated from Ferguson, Pune. So
I know
this was like that.
It was mandatory, right? So yeah, that's what I feel like. That phase. What was the years of your law college? Like
2006 to 2009.
2006 to 2000. I think that was the peak of ASCL era. Right. I also, you might not know, you and I share a connection that I also did my law from Pune. And so I did it from BVP.
Oh.
Yeah. So we used to go to FC Road for people who don't know. FC Road means Ferguson College Road. And they have the world's best momos for sure. Right.
Did you go to Vaishali?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vaishali is like the joint.
Yeah, exactly. And then there used to be one more place which was quite old. They used to serve this kadak chai and bun maska, which I used to love. Yeah, it's a very popular place. It has
Gudle Chowk or something.
Good luck. No, Good Luck Cafe. Good Luck Cafe. Yeah, Good Luck Cafe. Yeah, and it has been shown in a couple of movies as well. Yeah, that's like, yeah, especially, yeah. So I missed.
Surprisingly enough, for 3 years, I only had bun maska like twice, and I never understood what was the hype. But when I came back and had it, then I understood like what was the hype.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I had a similar experience with this thing. This thing called, what is this called? Like there's this thing, you have a bun and then you have a gravy and then you have a lot of namkeen over it. What is that called?
That's called bun pav.
No, vada pav nahi. No, it's not dhabeli. No, it's not masala pav.
Dhabeli.
It's not even dhabeli. It's in dhabeli mein you have it inside, right? So they serve it separately. This is called mistal pav. Yeah. So when I was in Pune, I had misal pav like twice or thrice. But when I went back to Pune a couple of times, then I really realized why misal pav is so special. So yeah, so you and I share that connection. So definitely, I never miss a chance to go back to Pune whenever I can. And with the nature of the job that I have, it's a privilege that I get to travel that much. So. Right. So, that's my question. I wanted to follow up on that. Transitioning from litigation to an in-house counsel who specializes in cyber law and GDPR, right? So, how did you train yourself? What was your go-to method?
There was not one. There were many. First, I had to literally find my contacts who can help me with certain things. Like when we used to do employee matters, it was after things had happened, people would come to us for redressal. Right now, you're doing something to stop going to a lawyer, to stop going to court. Now you have to take measures beforehand. So obviously, rereading the law, rereading multiple times was very important. Rereading the judgments was very important. But then I had to find people either from LinkedIn or from my network who were working as in-house counsels or new in-house counsels so that I could talk to them. I spoke to a lot of people, understood a lot of things. And I've been very blessed that my connections have been very quick to answer, or they would never send me to somebody who is not a genuine person. So I found a lot of genuine people on the way who taught me a lot, and if not taught me a lot, but then sent me in a direction where I could understand. Then my senior in Delhi was Mr. Buddy Rangnath. He helped me a lot in a lot of things.
Wow. Such a great, insightful answer. And that kind of brings me to the question and the importance of networking that you mentioned, right? So, in my experience, what I've seen that the first network that you build is in your college, right? And then you go out and you build your professional network. What experience you have, right, vis-a-vis people who are coming from non-national law schools, in terms of network that they cultivate just right out of the college versus people who are graduating from national law schools?
When I was graduating, I always had this very rosy-eyed pictures for national law school that they get the best of the placements.
Yeah.
And it's still true because of the name tag that they carry. But at the same time, working with a lot of people, I realized that there's no shortcut to hard work.
Right.
Things, and there is then you meet people along the way, but then it is very important to keep friends at the same time. Keep meeting them, keep in touch with people, and I have been blessed with good memories, so I don't forget names. So sometimes people don't remember me where they met me. So, bringing back that connection of, oh, he worked there, we met there, was a good time. And when we worked in litigation, the best time we could network was during the matter breaks or during the
Right.
lunch break. So that we met a lot of people without meeting, because there's a huge lunch table. You meet people, you're talking to random people, and sometimes you exchange numbers or sometimes you don't. But then when you bump into them again, and just because you had good conversations, you build a network eventually. And most of the times, network don't help you right then and there, but in the long run, it really helps.
Very well said, Richa. The importance of networking is huge. But, as a litigator, you mentioned about the possibility of, increasing your network during the matter breaks or the lunch break. But do you think the rules are different for guys and girls? Because I have a lot of friends who said that, intentionally we can't be really too open about it because we are worried about the fact that, people will misconstrue our behavior. So have that happened with you somehow?
A lot of times. Like, if you're there are a lot of there are a lot of intonations that really matter. Like if you're too outgoing, if you speak too much, then sometimes people think differently, or there are a lot of backhanded comments that you hear. People will not directly speak to you, but you'll hear backhanded comments. And one thing that I really found very funny was you are only concentrated on your career, but people are so involved in your personal life, which they know nothing about. Like they know you only from a distance, right?
Right.
So because you're only a colleague, or you're only a network or an acquaintance, but they're so important. But they will be so judgmental, or they will be so upper-handed comments. Like I have been a teetotaler, and they would be like, "You don't drink, you will not get away with this." So I did not like, personally speaking, I did not like parties at all. It was not something that I really liked. If I would want to do it with my friends, not with my colleagues. I want to keep that distance.
Right.
So, but then you're getting judged with it. If you're wearing something, you're getting being judged for that. Like, I don't know, there is a Delhi High Court is called a fashionista house, just because now like, women can't help it. They have so many options, and men. So if you can, like, our work demands only 2-3 colors. We only have 2-3 color palettes, and if we cannot experiment with the style despite being modest, in spite of modest, then why can't we take advantage of? And if a guy is if a girl and a guy is talking to each other, then in litigation, I've never worked as an in-house counsel, never been part. I have worked as an in-house counsel, but thankfully never been part of the office gossip. So I can't comment on that. But when I was during my litigating years, if I'm talking to a guy, then, some or the other day, a clerk will smile at me very, very weirdly and give me just because I was talking to a guy. So come on. We are either from the same badge or from the same law school. If we are talking to each other, just talking to each other. We could be good friends or good colleagues, but nothing stops there.
Right.
People's imaginations are very, very weird. And the funny parts would be like when I used to drive, my colleagues, a lot of my friends would not. So if we are going the same way, then we would drop. And that would become part of a gossip. Like, if a guy is dropping a girl, then they are in a relationship. A girl is dropping a bad boy, then that is something to be talked about. That was real fun. Sometimes it bothers you, or sometimes you just want to take it with a pinch of salt and just move on.
Right. So you are one of the few people who have practiced in Mumbai as well as Delhi, right? So did you see a cultural difference in the two cities?
So there was cultural difference in a lot of things.
Right.
Like in Bombay, I was a nobody. Nobody knew me.
Yeah.
So I had to literally do everything, make a friend circle, make a circle, professional, personal, everything. So and I have been very fond of style, fashion all the time. So people out there used to be not bothered. Like when I was a judicial clerk, I have worked with an MP's daughter, and till few years back, she never impressed upon that she was an MP's daughter, and she was at that time a sitting MP's daughter. So that there was no shosha in Bombay at all. It was one thing that I really liked about Bombay, and there was a big difference. In Delhi, people walk in their gowns and bands everywhere. If they're sitting outside in a cafe, which is like 2 kilometers away from a court, they're sitting in their band and gown and they're not bothered to remove it. And in Bombay, the sooner you out of the court premises, it does not have a matter, you have to remove it, because that becomes a matter of respect for them. And even today, whenever I go to court to appear in a company's matter, I cannot wear my band and have a cup of coffee. And that, like, everybody tells me that, why you have to wear it in another 2 minutes. Like, okay, fine. But, it got ingrained in me for the first 2 years of my career. And I respect my profession. And this is a part of my respect. So I don't think one should comment on that. But this is one cultural difference, one professional cultural difference that I found. The other thing was that Bombay is more lucrative in terms of litigation. Delhi is more opportunity.
Okay. And what's the difference between the two?
Because Delhi has more courts. Delhi has appeal courts. Bombay has courts. So Bombay practice is very niche. In Delhi, most of the courts are situated within the CP ITO area. So if you have office, but all have offices between GK and ITO. The offices do not move beyond that. The farthest people go is, I think, maybe Safdarjung and Hoskars in terms of office. Even in the last 5 years, people have moved to Gurgaon and Noida. But earlier, the offices were situated in these locations itself. In Bombay, the practice is situated like that.
Okay.
Like in Delhi, people are appearing in Kadka Doma Court and still have office in Jangpura. But in Bombay, mostly it is people have office in Fort and they are appearing in High Court or City Civil Court.
Right.
Or whatever courts which are nearby, like DRT or Company Board and everything. So most offices are closer to the court.
Right.
People who are appearing to Thane Court, they have offices there. Right. So people are developing their practice or anything, keeping reaching distance in mind. In Delhi, people don't care how much they have to travel. That's my understanding.
No, that's absolutely correct. But I think the credit goes to metro versus local train. Right?
That's so.
Right. If you like during work days, if you're traveling in any metro, you will see a couple of advocates in every metro train, right? And even in my litigating days, I used to travel a lot by metro, right? Because you have the certainty, right? Because when you're driving, you can't always predict how the traffic going to turn out, right?
Yeah.
But with metros, you have absolute certainty that, if this is the time I'm getting up, until unless there's a big or major infrastructural issue, things going to be way. But that's not something you can say about, it's not that comfortable to commute in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason. So yeah. Let's move on to the next question. The intersection of law and technology is increasingly become prominent. How do you see this relationship evolving in the next decade?
So, technology is evolving at a very furious pace. 6 months Chat GPT, 6 months down the line, we already have deepfakes. As soon as generative AI came, the crime also picked up with it. But unfortunately, the law has not picked up with that. Law needs to be maybe more aggressive. I think one change that we can bring about is at the grassroots level that involves stakeholders while evolving the law. Because right now, in US and other countries at least, law has picked up the pace. Like when privacy law was not an issue, GDPR came in. Now recently, EU has passed an AI Act. Then people have comment. Act came, I think, maybe 2 weeks back, and there have been a lot of webinars, seminars already on dissecting the Act, what needs to be done, what is the understanding of the stakeholders. But at the same time, India has only brought about a suggestive paper, which is a lengthy paper, but it's by Niti Aayog. So it doesn't have any binding value. So we need something which is more evolved. We need to, apart from that, judiciary also needs to be bring up to that level. Because a while back, we argued a matter on breach. The judge was not understanding what we were saying. We had to appeal from a district court matter to high court to get an injunction, which was because for them what breach means for a business is not translated to a judge. To a judge, an injunction is only understood in physical terms. Now technology is not physical anymore. Technology is all virtual. Technology is absolutely, you cannot touch. People recently, Department of Justice of US has brought up a paper which said that for 10 years, Republic of China, 7 hackers have brought about more than 10 million, maybe more, millions of losses to US. And it started, and the hacking was so intense that it started at a very low level, that only when it increased to a very high level, when companies were getting affected, then the whole pattern was sent out. Those people, now see, since you're a lawyer, you understand that jurisdiction is very important. Territorial jurisdiction is very important. Now, crime is happening in one place, the perpetrator is at another place, and usually courts cannot punish in another jurisdiction. But this suggests that it has been done. So law needs we have G20, we have OECD. We also need something at an international level where all the countries unite, or at least major players unite.
Right.
Out something which tackles this problem. This is not happening at the moment. It needs to be done, and I'm hoping that it gets done as soon as possible.
Right.
But answer the question.
Right. The best analogy that I had, and this is something not a lot of people know, is about pirates. If you remember, in the 16th and 17th century, we used to have a lot of pirates, and they were disturbing the global trade. So all the communities came in and they said it doesn't really matter, right? If a pirate has committed crime in some other jurisdiction, because a lot of time the crime was committed in high seas, which was international, right? It doesn't really matter where they have committed the crime. If they are caught in another jurisdiction, whatever jurisdiction, they have the right to persecute them and ultimately give them a punishment, right? And I feel that these cyber crimes are becoming more and more international, right? Yeah. So we need to have something like piracy law, right? The way we used to deal pirates back then, similar to how we're treating these international cyber hackers to get an effective hindrance in their mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So yeah, that's really interesting. Now, yeah.
Sorry, to add on to that, I think.
Right.
deterrent punishments also needs to be there, because right now people are getting out in 5 years, 10 years maximum. So long as the punishments are not increased in these crimes, maybe that would also have a positive effect.
Wow. So for our listeners, can you explain what this, you spoke about the term breach. So was it like a cyber breach? What was it that you were fighting against?
I can't.
Okay, obviously. So obviously we can't discuss that on a public forum. So yeah, moving on. Because a lot of our listeners are students, this is the question which has been requested in a lot of comments. The question is, as someone who is involved in hiring, what qualities do you look for in a legal associate, and what advice would you give to freshers entering in this field?
One thing I would suggest is, at least while in your college days, if you're not spending some time in library, borrow some books from the library and give a 1 hour time every day to read something about your subject. That's one thing. And keep reading every day, at least for 1 hour, and whatever interests you. It should not be a self-help book or a novel or a legal book. It should be something which helps you in your career. Then I find this has been a complaint from my side, from a lot of lawyers that I have spoken to at my level or maybe higher above. Lawyers want to work remotely. It's not possible for lawyers to work remotely. Especially as litigators, you need to be on the ground to work. Second thing is people, this has been a discussion everywhere. People who are entrepreneurs, if I have spoken to entrepreneurs or anybody I've spoken to, it's a complacency and retention has become a bigger problem. Right. In a couple of years ago, if you got a job worth 25K, it was a huge amount.
Yeah.
And you want to stick to that job and you want to grow in the career. But these days, job hopping is becoming a bigger problem for the companies, because you hire somebody, you train them, and then they're ready to move on. People only want to work with big brands. It's a good thing to work with big brands, but you don't always get to learn with big brands. And initially, doesn't matter where you start from, whether you start big or you start small. I think you need to give 100% to that.
Wow, well said. So essentially, let me summarize: building a habit to read, and in the initial days of your career, focus on learning rather than the pay that you get. That would be your advice.
Pay is important. I can't say don't.
Absolutely.
Don't be bothered with the pay, but at the same time, work at the same level.
Yeah.
People want to get paid, but don't want to work at the same level.
Right. Absolutely. Very well said. And a couple of years back, if a fresher or if a younger cousin of mine used to come to me and say, I want to pursue law. I used to ask them a simple question: can you read for 8 to 10 hours every day? Right? Because that's essentially what's going to be what's going to be your life. If you can't read for 8 to 10 hours every day, then you shouldn't be a lawyer. Right. And the second incident that I would like to share is that I was interning in Dubai Associates. Right. So there was a group of 8-10 people. Right. And I wasn't getting paid anything. And there was very few chances of ultimately getting hired, because I was in third year. So there was no chance of PPO as well. So everybody used to leave the office at 7:30, at max 8. But if I had work, I didn't mind staying up at 9 or 10. Right. And a lot of people used to say, why are we working so hard? It doesn't really matter. We are going to get the same certificate. And I used to tell them that hard work is a habit, right? Ultimately, when I graduate, I want to have the habit that I can work as much as I want, right? And this habit is not going to be built just upon a day, right? It's when I'm going to get paid, then only I'm going to do all the hard work. That doesn't really work. You are going to perform in the match the way you perform in the nets, right? So if you want, and in legal career, especially litigation is really demanding, right? If you want to join that, you need to have the habit that you can work almost every day. You rarely get Sundays off. Almost every friend of mine was working in litigation. For the first year, they used to get just one day off in a month. That was kind of the norm. So this is the ground reality that you get. And if you are lucky, then you get paid. As a norm in litigation in Delhi or Mumbai, having zero salary is the norm. And you need to be really special, or your senior needs to be really special to give you a kind of a living wage, which definitely needs to change in the future. But that's what the reality right now is. So now moving on to the next question. Can you discuss a challenging case, obviously on a bird eye level, that you have worked on that required innovative legal solution?
There's a challenging case that I worked on, but that was not at the law was not, and technology was not advanced back then.
Right. Obviously it involved innovation on your level. A lot of people think that lawyers don't innovate, which is may or may not be true, but where you have to do an out-of-box thinking.
Yeah. So there have been a couple of things that I worked on in my organization where I needed to understand the technology. Now, I am a commerce graduate. I'm not a commerce graduate, but I took commerce in 10+2. And thereafter, I studied BA, and thereafter that, I studied law. So I don't have any idea of technology. Now, to say that for a lawyer who is a technology enthusiast is a funny thing. But now I needed to understand a technology, basically what the technology is doing, the grassroots level. So I didn't know how to do it. So I was reading up something, and somebody said that you can actually talk to ChatGPT. So I went and spoke to ChatGPT. I literally typed certain things, and ChatGPT did give me an answer. And then I told ChatGPT that understand that I'm an 8th grader, and can you teach me what this technology does at a level of an 8th grader? And it did. So that ways I understood a lot of things that technology did. And before that, I did a lot of calls with the people who were doing this technology. But now, when that conversations were happening, I was frantically taking notes because there were so many terminologies which I was not understanding. So when I went and Googled those terminologies and asked ChatGPT to understand that on a example level or a grassroots level or a 8th grader level, that was something ChatGPT was acting like a friend at that time for me.
Wow. Great story there. So this is rapid fire time. Are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you have to answer the questions very quickly. If you were an addition or a new addition to a crayon box, what color would you be and why?
Hot pink.
Hot pink. And why?
Just because the color is very bright. I'm very attracted to bright colors, or maybe very neutral pink because it's very soothing to the eyes.
Okay. Great answer. Next question is, what's the funniest thing you have ever heard in your legal career?
So we were in a matter, and late Mr. Fali Nariman was appearing for us in that matter. And there were many lawyers. There was Mr. Nandhyarujana, there was Mr. KKV, and Mr. Mukhorodgi, and the courtroom was filled. It was courtroom number 3 in Supreme Court. Courtroom was filled. We could barely move from the chairs to the front. And everybody was speaking. There were 20 lawyers who were appearing in that matter, and all big names were appearing. So Mr. Fali was on, because he was such a legend. He was in the front, and Mr. KKV was speaking. And in an open court, he said, "Stop yapping, KKV." And there was dead silence.
What did he say? Stop yapping, everyone.
No, he said, "Stop yapping, KKV." Mr. Krishnamurthy Venkat, his additional solicitor also.
Right.
Krishnan Venugopal. He was also appearing. He's fondly called as KKV in court. So he was speaking, and Mr. Nariman was to answer the question,
right.
And he was and he said, "Stop yapping." And for 5-10 seconds, there was dead silence. But then everybody, once it penetrated what he said, and everybody started laughing, Mr. KKV said, yes, Mr. Nariman, please go ahead. And then arguments happened, but it was for 5 seconds. It was a very high profile matter, but for 5 seconds, it was very, very funny.
I'm sure. That's why I say, as a litigator, you get the best stories. For sure. You might not get money, but you definitely get the best stories.
Yeah, there's one more I have. So,
Please.
So in the same matter, we were appearing back to back, like every day we were appearing. And we went for a conference at 7. The conference got over at 8 or 9. And we reached there at 6, but Mr. Nariman had gone for a walk. So by the time he came, he used to go with a stick and a torch. It was winter days, so he used to go with a stick and a torch. So he came and he walked faster than us. And he was that time maybe 84.
Right.
So he came back and he gave us a homework. And his homework was always very detailed.
Yeah.
Because we had to work overnight. So we knew we were not going home. And if we were not going to sleep. So he said, I'll see you at 5. So I asked my boss, matters tomorrow at 11. Why are we meeting in the 5 in the evening? Because that's what I thought. Like, no, we are meeting 5 a.m. in the morning. Like a conference at 5 a.m. was like, I couldn't keep my eyes open. And he's like, we'll meet at 5 in the morning. He didn't say morning, he said, we'll meet at 5. Everybody said yes. We came back at 5. The funniest thing was he was dressed at 5. And he used to wear those detachable, what are those called? Suspenders. He used to wear that. And in a winter morning in January, he was ready at 5 in the morning, and he used to wear that sailor's cap.
Yeah.
So, and for somebody at his age, at his level, to be so dedicated, is like a...
Right. You never find such people in any other profession, right? And, so when I was litigating, we used to have a lot of matters in Chandigarh. So what we used to do is get a flight early in the morning, like 6:30, and be in Chandigarh before the High Court opens, right? So before I was supposed to board on the first flight, or like the night before, my senior told me, make sure you have food before you reach the airport, because the to work under, she will not eat herself before the matter is finished, and she won't even let you eat. So you will essentially go hungry till like afternoon or something, right? And this is what I'm talking about, an 84-year-old. So at that age, she's so committed to the work that she will not have food until and unless the matter is finished. So that's the level of dedication you see in litigation. And
Mr. Ramjit Malani also used to be like that. When he was arguing the Manu Sharma's matter in appeal before Justice Balwant Singh in High Court, that time I was interning, and the court was used to be filled. Everybody used to go for lunch. People used to go into shifts because they used to block the seats. So one will come, they will exchange while going back for lunch. He would not budge. He would be sitting there with his bunch of books. And if you remember, High Court they used to have huge trolleys, big truck type of trolleys, which used to carry books from. So he had a personal kind of a trolley to bring out his books. And he would read, he would sit, he would not discuss, he would not talk. He would maybe have a cup of tea and he would be sitting there. And I remember whenever I used to go to Supreme Court, 10:15, maybe my watch could be 5 minutes late, but 10:15, if you see, sit on the upper side canteen beside courtroom number 4 and look down, Mr. Nariman would be walking from his car parking to the library to every day, till the day he was last working. 10:15, he would be doing that. Every day he would go to library, sit there, work, till his matter would be there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really inspiring to see that kind of a commitment. And I have worked with so many professionals, but the kind of commitment I see in litigators, I have never seen any place else. So as we are running out of time, we just have time for one quick question. What is the best piece of professional advice you have received so far in just one sentence?
My boss very early on told me to read. And he said at that time, used to Google it. Google had just started. We were habit of going for Google, Googling things. He said, no, go back to books and find your relevant law from the books. And since I was not doing that, I was punished one day, and he made me search one proposition from 1926 till 2000. This was 2011. From 1926 till 2011, I searched one proposition. From all the privy councils to AIR, I had to search everywhere. But that got me understand. What I understood was how important is the research. So, but now today I can proudly say research is one of my biggest talents. I can research anything because I know how to research.
Wow. Great answer there. So, Richa, thanks a lot for coming on this podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for calling me.
That's a wrap for the part one of our conversation with Richa. We have covered a lot of ground today, from the intricacies of technology law to the qualities she looked for in a legal associate. Richa's insight and experience provide a wealth of knowledge for anyone interested in the legal profession. Don't miss the part two, where we dive deeper into the future of legal tech, generative AI, and more fascinating rapid-fire questions. Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.